What is happiness? This is something I've been grappling with since I made my first Houseki no Kuni video on chapter 94. Back in 2020. It's something that Foss asked the Pebble as they weren't able to understand why Congo told them to pray for it, especially since Foss wasn't even there when Congo told the gems that they had given them so much happiness. So how can each person be happy like Pebble suggested? How do you know that you are unhappy? Is it tied to our biological needs of being fulfilled? No, not really. A stimulus from your body needs to be met. Let's say you're hungry, you're tired, or you're trying to lose some weight. You take an action to resolve this. Body is back to homeostasis. Now, this is just a reaction to an initial response. If you indulge in the stimulus, you may be temporarily satisfied, but maybe eventually you'll crave more because your status quo has now fundamentally changed. So our physiological needs of getting fulfilled will not give us happiness. If worrying about things that happened in the past or things that might happen in the future makes us unhappy, what about living in the present? How can you do that if you have responsibilities? When we talk about happiness, when you have something to lose or become attached to an outcome, you fear the loss of it, which causes unhappiness. If you stress about work, school, a relationship, anything that you have invested time and effort into, it's impossible to stay in the present. There are 108 worldly sins in Buddhism. They're derived from the 6 senses of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mind. Each of these have 3 variations of pleasant, unpleasant, and even. Each of these has 2 kinds of pure and unpure or impure. And finally, each of these is divided across 3 lifetimes of the past, the present, and the next life for a grand total of 108. Even being present is considered a form of a sin. Even positive and negative things give us worry because we create unfulfilled wants or desires out of them. So how can we be happy? If I think I am happy, why can I be confident in the happiness that won't fade away? If it's not attached to my bodily needs, similar to how the gems don't really have them, if it's not tied to our moral goodness or evilness of things or situations that come into my life, similar to how the gems don't really have morality other than what's taught to them by Congo, if it's not because of something I did in my past, something I'm doing right now, or something I will do, what could possibly give this thing that is looked upon as the epitome of a human life? If I can't let something outside of myself dictate this feeling, it has to come from within, unrelated from what's going on around me. Happiness is being content or tranquil in the exact level in the presence of pleasure and pain, or in the absence of it all. If I react the same way to any stimulus life presents to me, all problems go away and I can claim to be happy. I know people like to throw around the idea that Houseki no Kuni is a deconstruction of Zen Buddhism, but can we really say that? I can't. I come from an Eastern background, sure, but not Buddhism, and I've lived in America most of my life, so even when I look at this religion, I'm coming from a Western bias, no matter how hard I try to learn beyond what I picked up from my 9th grade world history class. Although many of you thank me for the insight that I've provided on Buddhism, it isn't coming from me directly, but from those who interact with me on a live stream, video comments, Twitter, or Discord. Presently, I can't give you an answer to what Ichikawa wants out of Buddhism, and that's okay. If my count is correct, we have only 14 pages left until this series ends. I mentioned in the 106 livestream that the summary page that Afternoon Monthly posted on Twitter was pretty strange, but with the announcement that the series is in fact ending next month in April 2024 with chapter 108 is surreal. We were right, but at what cost? One thing that has been speculated is who exactly posts the Houseki no Kuni tweets on Twitter. Ichikawa did used to have a website, but doesn't seem to be up anymore. From the glimpses of the low-res images of the chapter cover page corners, to the hands that pick out the limited edition for Volume 12's art book, to the random tweet about her in the sauna while watching a rerun of the anime, even if we can't say with 100% confidence that it isn't Ichikawa Ichikawa that posts on the account. For the release tweet for 107, which I'll link below, and the future release tweet for 108, please, if you do have a Twitter account, reply and send your love to her. Whether she reads it herself or someone from Monthly Afternoon tells her about the English comments that are flooding in, she deserves to know that we love her. I wonder what the magazine cover will be, as it seems like we'll get both a cover and a color spread. Also, I'm talking about a magazine cover that's actually dedicated to Houseki no Kuni as a whole, as Foss did show up in the cover last month. The previous magazine cover that was fully focused was back in June 2022 when we got out of hiatus for chapter 96, but we didn't get a color page with that. A color page is pretty rare, as last time was chapter 48 when Foss was in Lapis's dream, which was released in September 2016, while the one before that was actually chapter 6 on March 2013. These illustrations are unique to the magazine, and sadly it's very rare for color pages to be incorporated into the volume as they're printed in black and white. The only way to tell is that the shading is pretty different, and by digging through old RAWs and old magazines, as K-Manga uses the volume releases, so that's not even a viable option either. Everything that we talked about in the prior chapter reviews has all come together. We were wondering why Ichikawa was holding off on the double page spreads, and we are again with a back-to-back chapter that has spreads here at the end of volume 13. We talked about her masterful use of single-page panels as well as in terms of composition, and she somehow tops herself again by giving us 6 single-page panels back to back to back, giving us some haunting dialogue that associates the desire of each of these phases of Foss and what they wanted the most. The first spread of the chapter is where we get some pointillism that she kind of flexed the most using the volume 12 art book on the screen as Foss fades away, and the panel borders actually themselves fade away, just like Shiro or the game board faded from contentness. Now, is the second spread the Pure Land that is described in Zen Buddhism? Not of the humanoid beings that we've been following for the past 107 chapters, but the real depiction of it, with no shine or luster, but still part of a scene on a brand new planet that wasn't designated as optimal by the dregs of humanity. Was Foss happy all along? Was Ichikawa happy while writing? Were you happy while reading? Was I happy while reviewing? It'll all come to an end in 108, and I'll see you then. Peace.